I'm life and business coach Samantha Sifring, and this is the Online Business Building Mamas podcast, where you learn how to build a wildly successful business from home while raising kids. Welcome to another episode. Today is episode 85. And I'm coming to you from snowy Colorado. We have been getting so much snow lately. And looking ahead at the forecast for Halloween, I am thinking we are not going to be doing a ton of trick-or-treating this year. It's crazy. We always do get a little bit of snow in October, but it has just come in hot and heavy, or cold and heavy. So I am inside warm and cozy and in my new office. And the cat and dog are having a bit of mischief and play fighting. So if you hear jingling or anything like that, that is them. You may not hear it, but if you do, that is what's going on over here. I also wanted to give you a little update. I know on some of the podcasts recently, I shared that my coach had given me this challenge. She'd given all of us in the mastermind this challenge to make $25,000 in 30 days, all from new business and all in cash. So not counting sales and payment plans, but actually what did we receive from brand new clients in 30 days. And I did it. I'm so excited. I came in at $26,500 in the 30-day time period that she gave us. So I am really excited about that and really happy with the fact that I set a goal and achieved it. I think there's so much power in setting a goal with a tight time period, having it be something that you think is really out of reach for you, and then doing the work to do it. I talked a lot about it in my Facebook group recently. I talked about the things that I thought made the biggest difference for me. I will also be featured on my podcast, on my coach's podcast. So I'll be sure to let you know when that's coming out so you can go check it out. All right. Today we are talking about content. We are talking about what to do and why your content may not be converting. So we hear this all the time, right? Content is king. We should give, create value, the Gary Vee philosophy of jab, 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 right hook. And then we spend tons of time creating tons of content and nothing happens. This happened to me at the beginning of my business. I really spent a lot of time creating so much content. I had an Instagram where I post every single day. I had a blog where I was posting at least every week. I was creating so much and no one was really responding to it at all. And there are definite reasons for this, and I'm going to be talking about that today. And quickly before I do that, I want to just say that content is one part of growing a business. So if you are, especially if you're new in your business, content is actually not the most important thing for you. You really want to be focused on getting clients versus creating content when you are new to business. So this is going to look like growing your network, talking to a lot of people, making offers to a lot of people, that kind of thing. I have so many episodes on that. And I also have a training that I call 2 Streams of Marketing that is in the membership vault that I offer for free to everybody in my Facebook group. So if you have not ever seen my 2 Streams training video, and if you don't have access to my vault, head over to my Facebook group, Online Business Building Mamas, and check that out because I think that you would get a lot of value if you're not where you want to be quite yet in your business. If you've been in this cycle of creating a lot of content and not signing any clients, you should for sure head over there and do that training. But let's talk about the content you're putting out there. If it's not converting, there are 4 possible reasons. The first one is that your audience might not actually be seeing your content at all. So this is what happened to me when I first started my business. Like I said, I was blogging up a storm. I was so consistent. I did everything that they said to do. Nobody saw it. I think my mom and like my mother-in-law and my stepmom, all my moms saw it. My sisters saw it. And my best friend saw it, and none of those people were my ideal client. So I didn't sign clients from that content I was putting out there. You really need to be sure with the content that you're creating that you are getting it in front of the eyeballs of your ideal clients. I see so many people who are like, why isn't my business working? Nobody's following me, nobody's interacting with me. And then they're making some really basic mistakes, like, for instance, saying, I'm the only person who likes my Facebook business page, but then you see that they've never shared it on their personal profile or anywhere else. It's like, of course, like nobody saw it to like it. So little things like that. But I also want to say your personal Facebook page is not the only place to be sharing. I think it is definitely a great one. I think the people who already know and like you are going to be great allies for you as you're starting your business. Maybe they know your ideal client. Maybe they could be a referral. Sometimes they are your ideal client, which is awesome. But you really want to also be thinking about where your ideal client might be and meeting them where they are. So I for sure talk a lot about Facebook and Facebook groups. That is where my ideal clients are, and that's where I love to meet them and connect with them. This strategy is not right for all of you. And a lot of you try it because you see it works for me. And it's really not the best way for you to be building your business. So don't just do what you see other people doing. Truly put in the time to figure out where your ideal clients are and where you could go meet them and talk to them and get your content in front of them. And if this isn't working or if you get stuck, you should for sure work with a coach. I don't want any of you to be seeing what's going wrong in your businesses and then not doing anything about it. I think I'm going to be explaining why things aren't going right, but you have to take action to change it, and sometimes that means getting help. The second reason your content might not be converting is that it isn't valuable to your ideal clients or the audience who is seeing it. Not all content is actually valuable. In fact, a lot of it is fluff. I think that a lot of us have been fed this idea that you can't make an offer all the time. So you need to be doing like other things when you're not making an offer, and that there's some like magic ratio of like value to offer that's going to convert well for you. It seems like every strategist out there has a different ratio or a different magic formula for this. And I want you to really recognize that when you're following these formulas, a lot of times the non-offer content that you're putting out there is not actually valuable. And the way to know that it's not valuable is if people aren't engaging with it. They saw it, but they didn't engage with it. They didn't comment on it. They didn't contact you about how it changed their life. Then you need to go back to the drawing board and really brainstorm how to create more value and what your ideal clients really need right now. What would really help them right now? A lot of times we put content out there that they don't care about or they already know or doesn't make an impact with them. And I really put a lot of importance on the value of the content that I create. I hold nothing back. I spend at least one writing session a day journaling and working on my own self and my own brain. And out of that work, I come up with so many topics. Like last week, I talked about super thinking. I super think every work day. And I come up with so many topics to share in my Facebook group with my audience there. And every post is valuable. I do like 3 to 5 posts a day on business days, and they are all value posts. Several of them also have offers, and I will often get a lot of engagement on the posts that have offers on them. I think that's another misconception that a lot of you have, that an offer can't be valuable, that it's the thing they don't want. So you have to give them what they want, so then you can ask them for what they don't want to give. And I don't believe that that's true at all. I really like to imagine that somebody joins my Facebook group and in a matter of like 1 to 3 weeks makes a decision about working with me or not. This is how it's been working out. Sometimes it happens in like a day, which is mind-boggling to me. Sometimes people need to be nurtured for a longer period of time, which is also totally fine. But the vast majority make that decision within that first month that they're in my group. And I love to think that the content I'm putting out every single day is creating this urgency and desire in them to work with me. And it creates so much of that finally it's almost like a teapot boiling or something. They like can't stand it anymore and they have to reach out to work with me. So I put so much importance on the value that I'm putting in my group because I know it's literally what's turning leads into clients for me at this point. So make sure that you are really spending the time that it takes to create high quality, valuable content. And I would rather see you when you're first starting out creating less content that's more valuable than creating more content that's less valuable. I get it. We all accidentally fall into this trap of putting fluffy and non-valuable content out there. So no judgment, but I want you to be really conscious when you're posting about the intention of what you're posting. Is it just to check it off your to-do list and maybe sign a client, or is it to actually create value for the people in your audience? Third reason that your content may not be converting is that it's sending the wrong message. This one is pretty tricky, but it's all about what's happening inside of you. Are you feeling exhausted, doubtful, uninspired? Guess what kind of content you're going to be creating. Your thoughts and feelings will impact what you create, whether you intend for that to happen or not. This one is really, really interesting, and it's why I always like to coach myself and get in a really clear-headed and inspired place before I create content. And I know that it isn't maybe something that we think is worth the time. Like I even had this thought before sitting down to create this podcast. I was like, I don't have time to do that before I record the podcast. I need to get the podcast done right now. So we all kind of fall into that place, but you want to be sure that really what you're doing is taking a moment to get yourself into the right feeling of inspired, of magnetic, of whatever it is that you want to be creating value and content from. Maybe it's valuable, maybe it's generous. Those are ones that I like a lot. So getting yourself into this place where you are feeling really good so that what you're putting out there is going to have that energy in it. And people can tell in your delivery. People can tell in the words that you choose and in the feeling that comes across to them in the words, whether it's something you're delivering live or recorded or just written. So really be conscious about how you are feeling and what you're thinking when you're creating your content. Don't freak out and judge yourself about this, by the way. I know that once we realize some of these personal development things and realize like, oh, I need to be conscious about what I'm thinking, that can become a whole new way of thinking to beat ourselves up. Like, I'm supposed to be more positive and now I'm beating myself up for being so negative. We stay in that negativity place instead of just saying like, whoops, I slipped back into this other way of thinking, but actually I'm focusing on inspiration and commitment and value and generosity and whatever it is right now. So don't freak out, don't judge yourself, but do get yourself into the right headspace before creating value to share. Final reason that your content might not be converting the way that you want it to is that it's not in integrity with you. Again, this is another trap that's so easy to fall into. This one, especially when you're new and just kind of copying what everybody else is doing and what you see working for other people. But a good sign that your content isn't in integrity with you is when you find yourself dreading it, when you have thoughts about how it's icky or it's not you, or it just overall doesn't feel right to you for some reason. Even if other people are doing it, if you get this feeling, do not do it, because what works for other people may not work for you if it's not in integrity with who you are and what you believe and what you do. So really pay attention. Is this in integrity with me? How do I feel about it? How do I feel about this either topic or the way that I'm delivering it? And it's totally normal and okay to feel a little uncomfortable, especially if you're putting yourself out there and you don't have that habit. I know a lot of times I will write a post and I'll feel like my heart's racing and I'm feeling a little bit nervous to put it out there, or like maybe a little embarrassed or vulnerable. That is when I know I've really hit the gold mine. Like, people love that stuff. When I feel that way, I know people are going to resonate so much with that post. But if I were putting something out there and I was like, ooh, I don't know, like this feels icky, this doesn't feel right, that is a very different feeling. And that would be one for sure where I would be like, nope. Another area that things could potentially not feel right, or like the feeling could be a little off. I noticed this with myself a lot, that something out in another group will trigger me and I will feel really pissed off about whatever it was. Like, how dare you say that you don't care about mindset or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you've probably seen me freak out about this stuff before. I try to keep it in, but sometimes I just like put some post out there, you know, right away when I see those things, and get all riled up about it. And you really want to be sure that you're speaking to the people who already buy in to you, who already are your best clients or who are your ideal clients, who want to work with you, who are interested in working with you, who are on the verge of working with you, not the people who don't want to or don't believe in what you do or whatever. So just pay attention to that one as well. Generally, if you're feeling defensive or angry when you're creating content, it's talking to the people you really shouldn't be bothering to talk to. So not this particular situation, but going back to that idea of integrity and the ick factor, like it just not feeling right to you. This happened with one of my clients recently who is a career coach. So she saw another career coach asking people what their dream job is. And that thread on Facebook got tons of comments, like hundreds of people were flocking and saying what their dream job is. And it was this highly engaged post. Now, my client does not believe in dream jobs. She is a very different kind of career coach. And the concept of dream jobs, she has a lot of thoughts about and totally disagrees with. But because she saw this being so successful for another coach, she took the question and posted it in another group. What is your dream job? So funny, but it got a ton of comments from people saying, I don't believe in dream jobs. And she was like, me too. And she was frustrated that she had posted that. Like, she knew immediately that it was a mistake. So next time she posted and it really was in alignment and it really was in integrity with what she actually believes and the kind of work she does, she actually booked several clients just from that one post. So it really is important to create your own content, even if you're saying things that are different from what other people are saying out there in the world. Don't be afraid to be a thought leader, to be saying things that are risky, but totally true to you. I would rather see you doing that and risking that than to see you putting something out there that just isn't quite true to you. All right, mamas, I hope that this gave you some really good food for thought with the content that you're creating in your business. I love helping my clients come up with content, brainstorming blog posts, and ways to make offers and content to put out there. If you know that your content needs some serious work, we should talk about working together. I am filling up for the end of the year, but I still have spots left, and I would love to have you apply and would love to have you consider working with me and just hop on a call together, hear about your business, hear about your goals, hear about what you want to create in 2020, and see if we might be a good fit. If that is something that you're interested in exploring, the link is the same that it always has been, and it's also in the show notes. It's bit.ly/callsamantha, bit.ly/callsamantha. If you like this podcast, I want to invite you to coach with me over in my program, Mama to CEO. There's you, and there's the consistent income you want to make in your business, and I help you remove everything standing in between. It's lifetime access for mastering your marketing, sales, time, and everything else you need to have the business and life you really want. Whether it's making your first 1,000 or 100,000, I can help you do it. To join, go to mamatoceo.com, mamatoceo.com.